FluentCast. Real English, real conversations, real confidence. This is FluentCast.
Hello, and welcome back to FluentCast, the podcast where we explore the intersection of language, culture, and the world we live in. I'm your host, Diego, and before we dive into today's topic, if you are enjoying our episodes and want to keep improving your English through real-world discussions, make sure to hit that subscribe button on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen. It really helps us grow our community. Now, imagine this. You are at a work event or a party, or waiting in line for coffee, and someone next to you makes eye contact and smiles. And you know, they are about to say something. And your brain, in that exact moment, completely freezes. You say hi, they say hi, and then there is the silence that feels like it lasts 3 years. If that has ever happened to you in English, you are not alone. And it's not because your English is bad. It's because nobody ever taught you what actually comes after hi. And today we are fixing that. We are going to talk about small talk, what it is, why it's so uncomfortable in a second language, and most importantly, how to actually do it in a way that feels natural, not scripted, not like a job interview, like a real person talking to another real person. And here's the thing I want you to hold on to throughout this episode. Small talk is not small. It is the front door to every meaningful relationship you will ever have in English. The friend you make at a conference, the client who trusts you, the colleague who becomes someone important in your life. It all starts with something that looked on the surface incredibly common, incredibly ordinary. So let's get into it. There are 2 reasons small talk is difficult in English specifically, and neither of them is the reason most people think. The first reason is not grammar, is rhythm. Every language has its own conversational rhythm. The pace, the pauses, when it's your turn, when to jump in, when to wait. In your native language, you naturally learn this rhythm without thinking, over years and years listening to people. In English, you probably learned vocabulary and grammar, but nobody taught you the rhythm, so you hesitate at the wrong moment. You speak when you should wait, or you wait when you should speak, and it feels awkward even when the words are correct. Now, the second reason is a thing I call the performance trap. When you are in a second language, you feel watched. You feel like every word is being evaluated. So instead of just talking, you start editing before you speak. You think of something to say, then you decide it's not good enough, then you try to think of something better, and by that time the moment is gone and the silence has won. But here's the thing about small talk. The other person is almost never analyzing your words. They are thinking about themselves, what they are going to say next, whether they seem interesting enough, whether the coffee is good. People are so busy inside their own heads that they simply do not have the bandwidth, they do not have the time to judge you the way you are judging yourself. That realization alone should take about 40% of the pressure off. Before I get to the specific phrases, and I want to give you one mindset shift that is more powerful than any phrase. And here it is. Stop trying to be interesting and start trying to be interested. These phrases may sound similar, but they are completely opposite. Trying to be interesting puts all the pressure on you. You need to say something clever, something witty, something that impresses. It's exhausting and it almost never works because people can feel when someone is performing for them. Now, trying to be interested means your attention is on the other person. You are curious about them. You want to know something. And curiosity, when it's genuine, is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have in a conversation. People live in interactions where they felt listened to, feeling great, even if they can't explain why. In English, there is a word for this quality: attentive. Being attentive means paying close, careful attention to another person. Not just hearing the words, but actually listening, noticing what they say, responding to it, following up. The attentive person is almost always remembered as the best conversationalist in the room, even if they barely spoke. Okay, I've been talking a lot, but let's go to actual practical tools. The best way to open small talk is what I call a context clue opener. You look at your shared environment, what you and everyone can see, hear, or experience, and you make a simple observation. Not a question yet, just an observation. You approach a person, you might say, "Ooh, I love the music they are playing," or "The coffee is incredible." "Oh, it got really crowded in here so fast." These phrases work because they are low risk. The other person doesn't have to reveal anything personal to respond. They can just agree, disagree, or add something. And either way, the door is open. Now, the most important skill in a small talk is the follow-up question. This is where most learners stop too early. Someone says something and you respond, "Oh, nice," and the conversation dies. The follow-up question is what keeps the conversation alive. Let's say someone approaches you and says,
"I've been really busy with work lately."
Most people say,
"Oh yeah, me too."
and that's it. But a follow-up question changes everything. Instead of saying, "Yeah, me too," you could try saying, "What kind of work do you do?" Or "Busy in a good way or in a stressful way?" Or simply, "What has been keeping you so busy?" Any of these questions opens a new door, and behind that door is an actual conversation. The best follow-up questions are open-ended. I mean, they can't be answered with just yes or no. A question like, "Did you like it?" is a yes or no question. But "What did you think of it?" is open. The open version invites the other person to share, to expand, to give you something to work with. But, and this is important, don't only ask questions. A conversation is not an interrogation. You need to share too. After your question, add something about yourself. Something short. Something that gives them a thread to pull. If someone approaches you and say they've just got back from a trip, from Portugal, let's say, and you ask, "Oh, how was it?" It's a great follow-up question, but then add something like, "Oh, I've been wanting to go for years. I keep hearing about Lisbon." Now it's a conversation, not an interview. Think of it like playing catch. You throw the ball, they throw it back. If you only catch and never throws, the game stops. One last piece that people almost never talk about is how to exit a small talk conversation without it feeling abrupt or rude. Because sometimes you've had a nice exchange and you just need to move on. And if you don't know how to close it cleanly, you either stay trapped in it too long or you escape in a way that feels weird. Here are 3 natural ways to close a small talk conversation in English. The first, signal that you need to move, then complement the conversation. Something like, "Oh, it was really great talking to you. I'm going to grab another drink, but enjoy the rest of your evening." This is short, warm, and clean. The second phrase, I would say, uses a soft but clear exit. You could say something like, "Well, I'll let you get back to it. Nice to meet you." This phrase, "I will let you get back to it," is a polite and natural. It frames the exit as a favor to them rather than a retreat. And the third one, and I think is the most powerful, you leave the door open. "Hey, if you are on LinkedIn, let's connect." Or, "I'd love to continue this conversation. Can I grab your contact?" This turns a small talk moment into something with a future, and that's the whole point. Small talk is not about weather and coffee. It never was. It's the warm-up, the handshake, the first paragraph of a story that might go somewhere interesting. And the people who are best at it are not the loudest or the most clever. They are the ones who walk into a room genuinely curious about who is in it. They ask follow-up questions, they share just enough, they make the other person feel heard. That is a skill. And like every skill, you get better by doing it, not by thinking about it. So this week, if you have the opportunity to talk to someone in English, someone that you don't know, don't be afraid. Go there and say hi. Try to start the conversation. Try to apply the tips that you learned here today. And let's lock in the vocabulary from today. Today I had some nice words, like the word attentive, which means paying close, careful attention to another person. Also, I used the word follow-up question, which is a question that responds directly to something that the other person just said, keeping the conversation moving. And I'm sure you heard much more words in here that may sound new or unfamiliar for you. If that is the case, don't forget to check the transcript of this episode on Apple Podcast and try to look at the dictionary to learn the new words. And if this episode was helpful, share it. Share it with one person who needs to listen to this. It makes a real difference for FluentCast. And I'm Diego. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next Monday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
FluentCast is a production of Fluent English Academy. To learn English in a natural and practical way, visit www.fluentenglishacademy.com.br.